Hello one and all and welcome to HITC Sevens and today's video which is all about icons on FIFA 20. This is a video which has been requested a lot, particularly recently, and particularly by subscriber Christo Playel, and it's got lots of likes, so I thought I would give it a go. Despite the fact that although I do own FIFA 20, I haven't played the game particularly much this year, and even when I did, I can't say that I ever had the put the game hours or cash into it to ever be able to afford an icon or even a team of the season card or anything like that. But nonetheless, yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing today. I have not prepared a script, as you can probably tell for this video, but I have written down the names of all the icons along with their ratings, so I'm just going to reel through them and then point out any discrepancies, any players that I think should maybe be higher, lower rated. I'm not going to do it player by player because there's a surprisingly high number of icons on FIFA, so that would take forever. So if I don't mention a player, you can assume that I think their rating is fairly reasonable. Okay, and also I should point out, at least as I understand it, each icon has 3 cards on FIFA. For anyone who doesn't know what an icon is at all, they're just legends, essentially, if you've never played FIFA. Legends that are added to the game, and they're given cards on Ultimate Team. So yeah, each legend, each icon has 3 cards, one sort of in the early parts of their career, one in the sort of towards the tail end of their career, and then one when they're in their prime or peak. It would, again, take a long time to look at all of them, so I'm just picking out the players' highest rated card from their prime, and then talking about, whenever I mention a player, I'm going to be talking about them at their best, since that would correlate to what their rating should be, their highest rated card. Okay, so as I say, to start off with, I'll just quickly, or as quickly as possible, just rattle through all of the icons' names and their ratings, and then I'll talk a little bit about, which ones I think should be higher or lower rated. So, to start with, Pele is the only 98 rated icon, Diego Maradona is the only 97 rated icon, then on 96 you have Zidane and Ronaldo, then on 94 there is Ronaldinho, Johan Cruyff, Lev Yashin, Paolo Maldini and Garrincha. Then on 93 there is Carlos Alberto Torres, Henry, Best, Baresi, Eusebio, Van Basten, Gullit, Matthias and Baggio. Then on 92 there's Schmeichel, Stoichkov, Bergkamp, Van Nistelrooy, Butragano, Zanetti, Nesta, Moore, Del Piero, Figo, Rivaldo, Lineker, Puyol, Raul, Cannavaro, Giggs, Dalglish, Hugo Sanchez and Andrea Pirlo. And then on 91 there is Riquelme, Pires, Owen, Kluivert, Hadji, Desai, Blanc, Gerrard, Ballack, Trezeguet, Vieira, Shevchenko, Nedved, Shearer, Socrates, Seedorf, Van der Sar, Scholes, Klose, Rush, Roberto Carlos, Michael Laudrup, Koeman, Hierro, Kaká and Didier Drogba. And then on 90 there's Roy Keane, Rui Costa, Rijkaard, Petit, Overmars, Okocha, Litmanen, Larson, Inzaghi, Hernandez, Ferdinand, Deco, Crespo, Vieri, Lehmann, Makaleli, Veron, Lampard, Guardiola, Essien and Zola. And then on 89 there's just Gattuso, Sol Campbell, Gianluca Zambrotta and Ian Wright, and John Barnes. And then finally Hidetoshi Nakata, who's the only 88 rated icon. Okay, so those are all of the icons, and it going from highest to lowest, as I look at them, I would say, given that it's the highest rated and you're talking about the player at their peaks, just to reiterate that point, I don't think there's ever been a better peak, probably, or at least as good as Diego Maradona at his very best, sort of around the 86 World Cup, and of course, in his time at Napoli. So I would say Maradona deserves to be on par with anyone else, at least. Zinedine Zidane, obviously, that strikes me as being much too high, him being a 96 rated icon. The idea that peak Zidane was better than peak Johan Cruyff or George Best and Garrincha. Personally, I would say that Ronaldinho at his peak was better than Zinedine Zidane at his peak. So yeah, I would make Maradona 98. I would have I'd probably have Johan Cruyff as a 96, George Best as a 96. George Best, at his best, was a freak of nature. Just one of the most naturally gifted footballers of all time. Grincha, again, either a 95 or a 96. I'd probably keep Ronaldinho at 94. You could probably make a case for 95 at his absolute best, but I think 94 is fairly reasonable. But then have Zidane as a 93. Moving a bit further down, Eusebio is a 93 rated. He has to be 94 as far as I'm concerned. The man was a monster at his best. Just unstoppable at his peak, yeah. If Ruud Gullit is to be a 93, then I think some of the 92 rated icons would have a right to feel a bit hard done by. Just looking at them, there is Figo, Rivaldo, Bobby Moore and Kenny Dalglish. I think, like I say, if Ruud Gullit's a 93, I would make them 93s as well, personally. I think at his very best, Rivaldo, there was nothing the man couldn't do on a football pitch at his peak. So I'd have to put him at 93. Even if you move Ruud Gullit down to 92, I would still have Rivaldo as a 93. Gary Lineker, amazing goal scorer, incredible poacher, but 92 strikes me as generous. I think he would be the first to admit, Gary Lineker, that he was a great goal scorer, but not technically speaking as good as a lot of the other maybe 91 or even 90 rated centre forwards that have icon cards. So I would say, looking at peak, Michael Owen, Andrei Shevchenko, Alan Shearer, Didier Drogba, Henrik Larsson and Christian Vieri all were better all-round centre forwards than Gary Lineker. I mean, Michael Owen at his peak was truly, I mean, his pace was lightning. He could do run into the channels. He could score all different types of goals. Michael Owen at his peak, I would say, I would take personally peak Michael Owen over Ruud van Nistelrooy at his best. So by that logic, for me, Michael Owen should be a 92. Reiterate, just talking about the highest rated cards. Obviously, I'm not talking about their overall careers, just at their very best. So I would say Raul probably in a similar boat to Gary Lineker, maybe a tad generous. I would say plenty of the 91 rated centre forwards were better at their best than Raul ever was. Peak David Trezeguet being rated as higher than peak Christian Vieri. I'm not so sure. David Trezeguet, again, great goal scorer, but the 1997-98 Christian Vieri, whilst he was with Atletico Madrid, is just about as good a season as you're ever likely to see from a centre forward. In the last, 25 years, I would say the only better season by a out-and-out centre forward is probably Ronaldo, that same season, 97-98. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. What do you think is a better season by a centre forward than Christian Vieri in 97-98? But yeah, he scored a goal a game. I think 24 in the league, and similar in all competitions, maybe 29 in 30 or something along those lines. So yeah, I would have to give Christian Vieri a 92 rated icon card in terms of his peak again. I would put Raul probably on 90 or 91. And like I say, Gary Lineker the same. Miroslav Klose, similar, a little generous. Obviously, again, peak Miroslav Klose was never better than peak Henrik Larsson, if we're being honest. So I would say Klose and Lineker maybe suggest that the icon cards put rather a large bearing on the World Cup. which, you know, obviously is the biggest competition, but I would say that was generous. I'd have Miroslav Klose as an 87, probably, maybe an 88. I should point out, by the way, that I'm comparing the icons to each other and not to standard current players on the game, just in relation to each other. Moving further down, the most egregious rating, arguably, could be Michael Laudrup, who's rated at 91. And when you look at the other players, you know, that is the same rating as Steven Gerrard and Michael Ballack. You know, both incredible footballers, but Michael Laudrup at his best was a lot better than them, if we're honest. Peak Michael Laudrup, I would say, was probably better than Zinedine Zidane at his best, or at least on par. So again, for me, Michael Laudrup should be a 93 rather than a 91. And the same goes for Kaká, who's a 91 as well. And many of you will remember Kaká at his best at AC Milan. And I think to say Kaká at that point in time was not a better player than Gerrard, Scholes, and even Giggs, Giggs is a 92. Yeah, not for me. Michael Laudrup has to be higher. Kaká has to be at least a 92. Roy Keane and Frank Rijkaard, less obvious, but I would make them 91s. Rijkaard arguably even a 92, bearing in mind Ruud Gullit is 93 rated. Frank Lampard's rating is one that surprised me a little. He is rated at 90, like I say, whilst Scholes and Gerrard are 91 rated. And if nothing else, that surprises me just because one would think from a commercial standpoint, EA Sports wouldn't want to upset supporters of one of those three respective clubs by giving a different rating to one of their players. But yeah, I think across their careers, you can make, it's a whole can of worms, but you can make different arguments. But specifically at their best, I think that's harsh on Lampard to put him below those two when you think in his best season, he scored 27 goals from midfield and made just shy of 20 assists. I think he maybe made 17 or 18 assists in the same season that he scored 27 goals, 09-10 that would have been. So to me, that carnation of Lampard deserves to be a 91. When you look at the other players that are 91 rated, Filippo Inzaghi rating is a touch generous as far as I'm concerned. I don't think you can call a pure poacher who scored 24 goals or league goals in his best season on a par with Christian Vieri and even Hernan Crespo. So I would have to knock Inzaghi down to an 89. Then there's Luis Hernandez and Hidetoshi Nakata, who I know some people might say they're possibly in there due to marketing reasons in the regions that they're from, which is a bit harsh because both were excellent footballers. But Hernandez, you take a look at, he only played in the Americas, North and South America. He never hit 20 goals in a season in either continent. And on those grounds, 90 does seem generous when you look at the other 90 rated centre forwards. So there's the idea that he was as good as Christian Vieri, for example, who I seem to be constantly going on about, and better than Ian Wright, peak Ian Wright as well, obviously. I wouldn't be able to get on board with that. Hidetoshi Nakata was an excellent footballer, but it's hard to compare him to the other icons as well, because obviously, like I said, if I'm just comparing players to icons, he is the lowest rated icon anyway. So it's just sort of the degree to which he was worse than the other icons. When I looked at the ratings of current players, just in the case of those two, with them being too low rated, or at least Nakata being lower rated, I would probably put Luis Hernandez around about an 83 or an 84, and Hidetoshi Nakata maybe an 82 or an 83, which is still, I think, considerably higher than someone like Yuri Tillmans that I looked at. So yeah, I'm sure I've missed some there, but I'm just looking through, and those are the sort of ones that jump out at me. Obviously, very lazily, I haven't come up with the script, but I know a few of you enjoyed the video that I did to camera a couple of days ago, and this was one that I thought lent itself towards it and saved me rather a lot of time to concentrate on writing another video that I've got coming up. I won't say any more about that one, but yeah. Thank you all for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, especially Christo Pale, who has requested it a number of times recently, and like I say, it proved to be a popular suggestion. So thank you again for tuning in. Give us a like if you did enjoy it, of course. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Which icons do you think should be higher or lower rated? And also, which players do you wish could be made icons, maybe for the upcoming FIFA? I know they have to get the licenses for players, but maybe someone like Alfredo Di Stefano. I think we can all agree it's wild that Neil Franklin hasn't yet had an icon card. And I will never miss an opportunity. If you do want to read an excellent football book, go to www.englandsgreatestdefender.com and I will sort you out on that front. Okay, thanks again for watching. Leave your thoughts, give us a like, and make sure that you are subscribed to HITC Sevens.